Hi, good morning. Don Pulayo checking in with you guys this morning. I'm here in my hotel room in Jacksonville, getting ready to go out and spend the day with my youngest daughter, Piper. She's 13 and a half. So she likes to sleep in. She's a teenager now officially, so she likes to sleep in the mornings a little bit. It's 7:45 right now in the morning, so she'll probably roll out of bed around 10 or so. But I'm working on a few things here on my laptop, and just wanted to put out a quick video. I spent the day yesterday in St. Augustine. I love going down there. I don't know why. It's got a vibe about it. If you've never been there, St. Augustine is the oldest city in the United States. It was founded in 1565 by the Spanish. And it's got a long history there. There's a little visitor center when you go there, and you can read a little bit about the history of it. The Spanish founded it. Gradually, it did change hands and went to the British at one point. Then the Spanish came back and took it back. And then eventually the Spanish ceded it to the United States. And along with Florida, the entire state of Florida was ceded to the United States. Um, so it's pretty interesting history. I've the whole place has kind of got a vibe about it with the different mix of cultures and things down there. They have a lot of little shops, and it's just a lot of little restaurants and stuff too. It's just a kind of cool place to spend a day. Every time I come down here, I try to get over there. It was a little bit warm yesterday. It was in the low 90s yesterday afternoon, so it was a little bit hot. You're in Florida. What are you gonna do? If you come here in the summertime, it's gonna be in the 90s. So luckily, it wasn't raining. I think most of this week we're looking at least some possibility of some showers and stuff. So it was a good day. I got a little bit of sun, I think. So anyway, looking at the news, we've got some riots going on in Los Angeles. I just, for the life of me, cannot understand why Americans want to protect people that are here. They're not here legally. They don't have legal status in our country. I lived in Europe for a couple of years, and if I went to Europe and I didn't have legal papers, I didn't have a visa to stay beyond the 90 days that my passport allows, the Europeans would deport me. They don't allow just anybody to just walk in there and just stay. You're not allowed to do that in Europe. You shouldn't be allowed to do that here. So to me, it's a no-brainer that the people that are here illegally need to get their status fixed. They need to figure out the easiest way to get their status legalized here in the United States. That may require them going back home and filing the appropriate paperwork. It's just, I just don't understand these people. Then you look out there on the news, and it's like they're all out there. All these immigrants are there, and they're waving Mexican flags and Venezuelan flags and Colombian flags and flags from everywhere but the United States. And it's like, if you've got so much pride in your country, why don't you go back there and try to make it a better place? It's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like the only reason these people are here is for American dollars. They don't really love America. They just want to get out of it what they can get out of it. And so America does need immigrant labor. We do need immigrant labor here in the United States, but we need to have a controlled southern border. Needs to be we need to control who comes in. We need to know who's coming in. We need to know what their background is and what's coming in. So we need to get that's just the way it is. So leftists need to wake up out there in California. I don't know what's wrong with you people. I think y'all have been brainwashed for too many years. Wake up. We got a lot of problems in this country, and it's like y'all aren't helping anything. we need to fix some of these problems here in the United States. So, we are, everything else going on in the news. I saw that Trump went to one of the UFC fights last night. He likes to go there and have everybody, everybody kind of gets excited to see him there. He was not accompanied by Elon Musk this time, so I'm afraid. I hate seeing this whole thing with Trump and Elon. I think Elon probably went a little too far with some of his comments. I understand him not being happy with the big, beautiful bill. I get it. I understand. I understand the frustration. The problem is that we have such an evenly divided Congress that you have to be able to come up with a bill that's going to pass. And we would love to have a bill that would cut the spending and get us into a budget surplus. I would love to see us have a budget surplus. That's what needs to happen. We need a budget surplus, and we need it for like decades to start whittling away at this debt. But with the evenly divided Congress that we have, I just don't see that it's possible. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. There's a lot of Republicans that are not really going along with that. It's like I expect the Democrats to spend, but Republicans are supposed to be more conservative and be more protective of the country and be more frugal. There are some Republicans like that, some very conservative, fiscal conservatives in the Republican Party. But there's a lot of Republicans out there that are more moderate Republicans that just do not care. They want, they're not really serious about cutting spending. And the tax cuts, look, this is one place where I'm starting to kind of differ from the Republicans. I understand the philosophy. The Republicans believe that you cut taxes and that will in turn spur economic growth and cause our GDP to increase, and that we can outgrow the debt. But I just don't see that that's happening. I don't see that that's working. I think we need to keep our taxes. I think maybe we extend the 2017 tax cuts that Trump imposed. I don't think we need any deeper tax cuts. We need to start paying off debt, and I just don't see that cutting taxes is going to help us do that. So I think they do need to find some ways of increasing the taxes on the especially the ultra wealthy. I think the ultra wealthy probably do need to pay more, a higher percentage than they currently do. They have ways of sheltering their income. They say, oh, well, we're not really getting income, because most of their wealth is coming from, either capital gains or interest income, dividend income sources that have preferential tax rates, things like that. And I just don't think we can allow that to keep going without really taking a hard look at that. And because we really, the problem is if you increase taxes, the politicians want to increase spending. And it's like, no. You got to cut spending and increase the revenue so that you're paying down the debt. That's what we want to see. We want to get into a budget surplus. Start paying off this $37 trillion debt that we have. And it seems like that's almost impossible in Washington, D.C. But I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I think the country might collapse before that happens. These politicians in Washington just don't have a lot of sense when it comes to that. It doesn't seem like. Anyway, I'm going to be down here until Friday. I'm going back home on Friday. So I'll probably do a few more videos while I'm down here. I will. I think my daughter is wanting to go to the mall today, but I'm gonna have to. Sometimes she gets. My youngest daughter can get a little spendy at times. She doesn't really know the value of a dollar yet. I need to start working with her and talking to her about this kind of stuff. Um, she's also becoming a young lady too. You know, she's 13, going on 14, and she's still got a little bit of childhood tendencies. You know, she likes a lot of little toys and different things, little stuffed animals and things like that. And I'm like, Piper, you know, you're getting older now, and you know, you're gonna want to, you know, she's kind of she's in a transitory period where she's going from being a child to being a more, you know, a teenager. So I'm gonna have some more serious conversations with her today. I think we need to work on it. Anyway, hopefully this will be a smooth day. Sometimes dealing with my ex can be a lot of fun. I'm guessing a lot of people have that same issue. You know, Piper's mom and I really butted heads for a number of years. It was not an easy relationship. It never really was. We were married for 3 years, and that was a tough 3 years at times, you know. But I think that's the reason why I'm pretty happy being single now. It's like, you know, I've been in a couple of marriages that, you know, and I think one of the biggest disappointments in my life is I've never really found someone that I really felt cared that much for me. You know, it's like my first wife barely, you know, we didn't really fight that much, but she barely wanted to have anything to do with me. You know, it was more like we were roommates than husband and wife. It really was like that with my first wife. And then my second wife, she just acted like she hated my guts for 3 years. so it's kind of disappointing. I feel like the whole thing's been a little bit disappointing. But it is what it is. So anyway, I'm gonna get going. I don't know what time Piper will be rolling out of bed, but I know she was pretty excited about going off. So we'll see what we get in store. I'm gonna have to keep a leash on her and keep her from getting too out of control with her spending. So maybe buy her a nice outfit or something. You know, it's like I want to do something for her while I'm here, but we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Don Pelayo signing out.